Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cryptocurrently podcast. I am Eric. I am joined by Ravi today. How you doing, man? How's California?
Excellent.
Excellent as always.
Today we have a little bit of weather. There are some clouds.
Well, it's still snowing in Detroit, so I'm not going to comment on that too heavily because I think you're in a much better place than we are out here. So before we get started with the actual content of the podcast, something I want everybody to take a look at real quick here is we had some crazy activity. Bitcoin's currently sitting at about 9,950. However, it was at about 11,000 earlier today. So whatever's going on in the market at the moment is causing things to tank a little bit. Ethereum's at about 750 right now. Ripple down to 86 cents. Litecoin at $182, so drastically underneath that $200 mark, which is I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If anybody can share or fill us in, I'd love to hear what you have to say, so make a comment below. But let's get to the important stuff that we want to talk about today. And the biggest thing we're going to start with is whether or not cryptocurrency is doing the things that we all thought that it was going to. It came out as a big anti-bank, clandestine, quiet thing that people could use. It was as digital cash. It was very secure, which it still is. But the stories we're going to highlight today are going to ask the question of whether or not cryptocurrency is becoming those things, or if it's progressing, it's becoming more and more part of the machine. The first thing we're going to touch on today is going to be, if I can get this to come up here, is that Mercedes has prepped the Cryptocoin for rewarding eco-friendly driving. This story is from CryptoVest, and Daimler Chrysler is looking at introducing basically crypto rewards for economic driving and low gas mileage for staying safe, and you get scored on an environmental score. This, to me, feels an awful lot like it is part of cryptocurrency becoming part of the machine. So, Ravi, what do you think about eco-friendly driving, kind of like an insurance reward for driving well?
I think it's hilarious. I mean, don't you? There's it seems like, everybody is getting into crypto or blockchain and just applying it to their business, since Facebook announced that they'll start researching cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. It's just been a free-for-all. Everybody's been joining, Blockchain Iced Tea just added blockchain to their name. I don't think they're actually doing anything with the technology, but it's becoming a trope of business these times. Just like these ICO pumps, people are just using the buzzwords to pump their companies up. And yeah,
I agree with you 100%.
I think people are grabbing at straws.
It's kind of that double-edged sword, right? Where we have the technology that's doing all the things that we all thought that it was going to do, where it gives us this awesome buying power and we can remain anonymous, and it gives us the ability to combat banking institutions. But the more that you see this sort of thing, the more that Mercedes Benz starts to pop up, and the next two stories that we're going to be moving forward to, some applications of this are not,
Well, I will say this about Mercedes. They are much more. It seems they're a lot further involved in the actual use of technology. They have an application, they can test it. They say here in the article, they have 500 Mercedes drivers involved in the experimental phase, so they are actually producing. So that is actually good. So in their defense, they are actually doing something with this, not just, swapping, adding the buzzword and becoming a part of the community. So
yeah, well, so let's move to our next story then, which has probably a little bit more far-ranging implications to it, in that PayPal is looking to implement blockchain technology to boost cryptocurrency payment services. So it's supposed to speed up the cryptocurrency payment system through PayPal. The CEO, John Rainey, is working on changing the way that PayPal transfers money, and that is kind of the focus, I guess. If I were to pick a focal point of this topic, it's that is, in essence, the strongest part of the blockchain, right? Is transaction speed and security. So with PayPal starting to eat this thing up, like, where do you see that headed? Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like, what are your thoughts on PayPal getting involved here?
Well, PayPal has already been involved in cryptocurrency for a little while. So I think what they're trying to do is just they're trying to figure out this payment speed issue, and it kind of sounds like this wasn't a very long article, and they didn't get too technically detailed, but it kind of sounds like they're doing a off-chain transaction recording and then pushing everything onto the blockchain. So it kind of seemed like there was some hints of Lightning Network stuff going on, but I'm not quite sure. I'd like to learn more, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just interesting because when you...
They are... well, they're one of the main retailers online, so it's definitely something good for cryptocurrency adoption, and it's going to be good for their business.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to me because a lot of the time when you're having conversations with people who don't understand what cryptocurrency or blockchain does, PayPal is a good example of something that you can talk to them and say, look, like, you're never going to see it. It's not going to be something that will jump out at you, but PayPal is going to use it, and it's going to change the way that you are able to transact money, particularly internationally, if that's something that you do all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting in that way because it's kind of this like quiet giant. You may not see it, you may not even realize that it is happening, but the tech rollover is something that's super interesting to me. All right, so
yeah, I mean it's
please.
It's something good that we should keep an eye on this. We'll come back to keeping an eye on whatever PayPal's doing. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, so now the strangest one to me is that the Starbucks application wants to integrate with a Bitcoin wallet to legitimize the payment of cryptocurrency at Starbucks through a partnership with iPayU. And they can pay specifically with Bitcoin at the moment. Now, Bitcoin, even with its hard forks, is not as efficient as some of the other platforms that are available to them. They picked it, I think, because of the name. It's very interesting to me because it's really good because it's offering a huge opportunity for anybody who is against this to say, well, what can I buy with it? You can buy Starbucks, and most people buy Starbucks. They are everywhere, constantly.
Yep.
So this is a big thing for them. On the other side of it, though, it is this further integration of cryptocurrency, mobile wallet accessibility, and it's lowering the liquidity of your cryptocurrencies in kind of a strange way that I think if you had asked people a year ago, where do you see some of the first applications of cryptocurrency, I'm not sure that anybody would have guessed buying coffee. So where are you at on Starbucks?
Well, I'm kind of in a unique place because when I first started getting into crypto, I saw this TED Talk that was about the future of branded currency. And it talked a lot about volatile economies, volatile fiat currencies that use branded products like Tide or Starbucks, whatever, any kind of branded products where you could store your value and use that as a medium of exchange. So it was they were using like cell phone minutes and stuff that they got utility out of. So there was. It's interesting that they want to do this because I think it's kind of allowing a storage of value. And since people will consistently be coming and buying coffee and coming and getting Starbucks, it has real application. So I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword because I know we do have speed issues, transaction size issues. A coffee is what, 0.00001 Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
So that's going to be kind of a big deal. Like, you have to load your wallet with a ton of Bitcoin, or at least 40 coffees worth of Bitcoin, and then you can use that for a month. And so it really depends on what the technology looks like and what they're going to be doing. There's a lot of potential here for just massive data mining. So
yeah, it seems to me it seems like a very lackluster thing to do, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel that I feel like the applications of blockchain and everything that we're seeing with its use in logistics and data security, storage, and rapid movement of transactions and stuff, I feel like buying coffee is kind of a flash in the pan thing, and it might be just a namesake move. Because I don't really this makes Bitcoin act like fiat currency. And in keeping with the theme of the podcast today, that to me feels disingenuous when we're moving forward with the technology. I'm very grateful that they're using it because it's going to open the door for hopefully more transactions under better infrastructure that will open more options and more opportunity for people to use it and pay for it. But it just seems like an extension of a fiat, right? Like you put your money into the Bitcoin and then you buy the Starbucks with Bitcoin when you could really just eliminate that entirely for the time being because, but you know, having said that now, maybe they're working on a back-end infrastructure that will allow you to somehow accrue Starbucks cryptocurrency or whatever. And that platform might be able to be used in the future on something different.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to call it Starbucks.
Right. I feel like they would be remiss if they didn't do that.
It's like
although for those of you that are unaware, Starbucks is named after a character from Moby Dick who was a harpooner on the boat. So that's a fun fact for everybody that didn't know that. It's just yeah, it's just strange to me, I guess, as we continue to see this sector evolve and things move forward. It's really interesting to me to see who the big players are that are picking it up. Early adopters are not necessarily what we thought, and it's not necessarily, I think, moving as fast as a lot of people early on in the industry expected it to be. I feel like in early 2017 and late 2016, a lot of people felt, well, we'll have a total takeover by now, and it's inching its way, but that, you know, you got to crawl before you can walk.
Right. And I mean, this is kind of a necessary step. We have to get more involvement, more. I mean, maybe this will open up more use of Bitcoin. So as adoption increases, you know, the volatility shouldn't be so dramatic. And if we are ever going to move towards this decentralized currency as our money system across societies, then it's going to have to take steps like this. So yeah, I see what the concern is with you, but this is all one big experiment. You know, we just got to keep trying stuff, because if this is something negative, and the community does not like it, you know, there can be changes made.
Yeah, I guess I should be very clear. I don't think any of this is negative. Actually, quite the opposite. I think that the only applicable use case here is that you get paid in cryptocurrency to drive your Mercedes to Starbucks, where you conduct international business through PayPal, which is for a lot, right? So for a lot of the people that are really into cryptocurrency for the most part, I don't think that grabs them. However, having said that, you do have to start somewhere, and anywhere is as good as anywhere else. So. And, you know, you trickle that down to a place where the average person is starting to earn cryptocurrencies for doing everyday guy stuff. I think that's a really good place to be. So I think that's as good a place as any to end our podcast today. I am Eric, joined with Ravi as always. Hit the subscribe button. Please hit us with some comments and stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Ravi, you're the man. Thank you for being with us.